the overarching plan is this is a qualifier show, right? So once I head back home, assuming I actually meet those qualifications, then that means I get to do the Arnold Amateur. But that's like 3 weeks from now. That's
All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, probably the big one that you want to hear about, and that is Sam Sulek. We talked about Sam a bit last week when he announced that he was just a few weeks out from actually competing, and we speculated on the possibility of maybe Sam doing the Arnold Classic Amateur and then doing one of the, I believe there's only 2 qualifiers in the United States between that point and the Arnold Amateur for him to qualify to actually compete at the Arnold Amateur. So it looks like we were kind of spot on with that pure speculation. He is doing a show this weekend. He's 5 days out. He confirmed that in his YouTube video today. So he's doing a show all the way in Las Vegas, and that is a regional qualifier, which is what he needs to do and place top 2 to then go on and compete at the Arnold. And then he even said at the end of that video, that is what he's doing. He's hoping to get a top 2 placing here so that he can do the Arnold Amateur. And the goal there would be for him to get his pro card. So he can't get his pro card at this regional show in Las Vegas. But if he wins the Arnold Amateur, he would be able to get his pro card in just, 3 weeks' time now. And to be fair, even though we just kind of speculated this in those videos last week about Sam doing the Arnold, I had heard that Sam was interested in doing the Arnold or talked about doing it behind the scenes like the end of last year. But that was just kind of rumors that I heard, and I had never actually seen Sam talk about that in a video. And I don't think he has talked about that in a video until now. So physique-wise, in his 5 days out video, I think Sam looks really good here. Again, you got to look at Sam in the context of he's an amateur that's never competed before. I know that you're used to looking at physique updates and posing videos of top-level IFBB pros that are about to compete in the Arnold Classic or the Olympia, so maybe this video of Sam posing doesn't look as impressive to you. But you got to look at it in the context of this is an amateur making his amateur debut. And even though we might be jumping the gun quite a bit talking about Sam's physique in the context of a pro card, realistically what we're talking about right now this weekend is how he's going to do at an amateur debut show. This isn't for the pro card. This is just for a top 2 placing at his amateur debut. So just keep that in mind. I don't think there's any reason to be overly critical of Sam's physique in this video. And the other thing, too, that we speculated, this was the other rumor that I heard, that I haven't heard Sam actually confirm yet. The other rumor that I heard is that Sam would be competing in classic physique as an amateur and not in bodybuilding. Now, I noticed that when I watched this video of Sam, he was still hitting all the mandatory bodybuilding poses in this posing video at 5 days out. So again, the rumor that I heard was that he's doing classic physique. But what's interesting here is because this is a qualifier, there's really no reason why Sam couldn't do both, because all you have to do is place top 2 in an open class. And that could be top 2 in an open bodybuilding class, or that could be top 2 in an open classic physique. So in theory, if Sam just really wants to qualify in any way, shape, or form, however he can get it basically, to get to the Arnold, he could do both classic and bodybuilding in the same show. And if he doesn't get that top 2 placing in one, maybe he gets it in the other category and he could qualify in that division instead. So I haven't heard Sam explicitly say he's doing classic physique only. That's just a rumor that I've heard. But because this is just an amateur qualifier, he could just do both categories and try to maximize his shot at getting to the Arnold. And I only say that as a possibility from a pure speculation standpoint. And that's kind of what we did last week and turned out to be right. but there's really no reason why he wouldn't just do both. And again, noticing that he hit all those mandatory bodybuilding poses in this video where he's practicing his posing. But then last week, we saw him hit a lot of like random classic poses in his posing routine. And it really just depends on what he's weighing. I have no idea if he's going to make weight for classic physique. Like we speculated in last week's video, based on his height, I believe his weight cap would be 209 pounds. I believe that's where they'd cut him off, because I think he would fall into that 5'11" or under category. So if he is weighing somewhere around that, and so bodybuilding at the NPC level, it is by weight class, but it has nothing to do with your height. It's just by weight, whether you're in, bantamweight, heavyweight, whatever. So if Sam was at that 209 limit for classic physique, and he also decided to do bodybuilding, he would be competing as a heavyweight in amateur bodybuilding at the NPC level, which is, I believe, 198 to 225. And again, nothing to do with height. They just organize the guys by what they're weighing. So he would most likely be in the heavyweight bodybuilding category, and the 209 would be his limit, I believe. I don't know Sam's exact height. I've never stood next to him or measured him, but I believe he's 5'11" or under, which would put him at 209. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you guys think Sam is going to do this weekend, as far as, do you think he will qualify for the Arnold? And again, it's just a top 2 placing. He doesn't have to win the whole thing. But what are your expectations for Sam this weekend and then at the Arnold Amateur, if he's in fact able to get there? And I personally think we should be a little generous to Sam. And again, just view this through the context of he's making an amateur debut. We're not holding him to the same standard as a pro. Maybe we can have that conversation a little bit more if he gets to the Arnold and he's competing for a pro card. Then we can say, okay, maybe this is why he was or was not ready to become pro. But for this weekend show in particular, I would just give him a little bit of grace in the fact that it's his first one. Now, next up in the news, we got a couple more physique updates from Sergio Oliva Jr., where he says he's weighing 298 pounds in these updates. It's been about a year, maybe a little bit more than that now, since we've seen Sergio compete, something like that. And I know a lot of fans are looking forward to seeing Sergio back on stage. This time around, he's working with Boss of Outlaw. And again, it seems like kind of every video that I make when we're talking about one of these top-level bodybuilders, a Boss of Outlaw has added them now to his roster, and he's been very successful so far. I kind of wonder, though, like how long he's going to be able to sustain like this crazy number of guys. Like this roster that he's got is just so many top-level guys, and I kind of wonder how long until it's too many, because at some point there's got to be a point of diminishing returns where his attention is spread so thin among so many guys. There's no way he could possibly give everybody the same level of attention and care for every prep at a certain point when he's got so many guys competing. But so far, at least up until this point, he's had a really, really successful 2024 especially. And I think really the only time that he missed the mark in a significant way was with Wesley Vissers at the Olympia this year. That was really the only one that seemed kind of like an L for him for 2024. But I am interested to see what the Boss of Outlaw formula looks like applied to Sergio Oliva Jr. And again, he's a big guy. He's weighing 298 pounds. He still hasn't formally announced when we're going to see him back on stage, what show he's actually doing. I kind of wonder if we'll see him possibly mix it up in New York. I kind of wonder if we could see him mix it up in Pittsburgh with some of these top guys. Because he looks like he's in good shape here. He doesn't look like he's super close to a show like the Arnold or maybe Detroit. But if we're talking about a show in May, conditioning-wise, I could see Sergio doing a show in May. He certainly looks pretty on par conditioning-wise with, like, Regan, for example. But I haven't seen Sergio formally announce that, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did one of those shows, Pittsburgh or New York, in May. And he's won the New York before. Actually, I think if you compare it to the update that Regan put up the other day, this was 2 days ago, Regan says he's weighing 320, is that right? 327 pounds? Oh shit, okay. He says right there in the comments only $295. But yeah, I mean, this update of Regan, we know for a fact he's doing the New York Pro. You put this side by side with that latest update from Sergio. Conditioning wise, they look, pretty on par with each other. I could totally see Sergio doing one of those shows in May, even though he hasn't confirmed it yet. Man, that was when I saw that 327, I was like, wait, what? There's no way. I thought just like a week ago he was 302 or something. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, next up in the news, I saw this latest physique update of Terrence Ruffin, Ruff Diesel, 13 weeks out, making his comeback at the Pittsburgh Pro. And I thought he looked really impressive in this update. Size-wise, he looks like he's put on some muscle. And it looks like he's had a productive time off in this time that we haven't seen him compete. And I'm honestly really looking forward to Terrence's comeback. I think he's got a real shot at re-injecting himself back into that conversation as potentially being heir to the throne, one of the top guys in this mix of young, upcoming classic guys, Ramon, Mike, Wesley. There's nothing about Terrence's physique, just because he took time off, that suggests to me that he can't find himself back in that top grouping of guys. He 100% to me looks like he could find himself still back in that mix. And that kind of brings me to the final story here, because I thought this was really interesting. This was at a Gymshark event in Miami this past weekend, where they built a larger-than-life-size statue of Chris Bumstead for this event. You got fans taking pictures with it. They showed kind of a cool video of Chris doing these full-body scans to try to build the statue. And I think it's interesting because it further adds to that conversation about Chris's potential post-competitive career of being potentially the next Arnold, in the sense of going from a competitive bodybuilder that had a ton of really attention, fame, whatever you want to call it, while they were competing, and snowballing that into something bigger like Arnold did with acting and politics. Arnold, I would say, is probably the most notorious bodybuilder that has statues built of him. There's not very many bodybuilders that have reached that level of adoration that there would even be a need to make a statue of them for people to take pictures with. But that really is symbolic of where Chris is at in his fame and popularity, is that there was a need. Someone thought this was a good idea. This is something we need to do, because so many people adore Chris at that level. If we built a statue of him, they would come and take pictures next to it. There's not many bodybuilders that can say they've reached that level of popularity. And with Chris, it's pretty crazy. And I know that it might seem kind of silly or whatever, but it is true. Like, when you've reached that point of fame, that they're building statues of your physique and people are coming, flocking to take pictures with a statue of you, that's like a different level of fame, and something you typically don't see with bodybuilders, with the exception of Arnold Schwarzenegger. People come from all over the world to take pictures with that Arnold statue in Columbus. And I still kind of wonder, what could we see Chris do next that could propel him to that same level of fame that Arnold had? Because he's already doing some of these things, like the statue, that really only somebody at the level of Arnold could achieve. So I guess my question to you guys is, do you think that Chris will be able to go on to successfully become more mainstream like Arnold did? Like, with Arnold, it was politics, it was the movies. Maybe acting is what Chris's next thing will be. Do you see that as a possibility? And do you think the statue thing is even significant at all? Because honestly, the guy that we talked about in the beginning of this video, Sam Sulek, I think if they built a statue of him right now and put it in downtown Columbus, there probably would be thousands of people that came and took pictures with it. And he's never even competed before. And he's only really been around for, maybe 2 years now? Just as far as the popularity that he's at now. So maybe it's not that significant, the statue thing, but to me, it kind of seems like it. And the only other example I can really think of is Hadi Chupin having that big statue of him built in Iran. And over there, Hadi is like an A-list celebrity. He's like a demigod there. But that's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you like the video if you did, in fact, enjoy it. The likes help out a lot. Subscribe if you have not already. And as always, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.